Welcome to the Spotlight On video. In this video, I'm going to run through the EFT file formats in Sage Intacct. My name's Anne from Orchid Systems. The purpose of this video is to give you an overview of the EFT file formats to demystify them. It's not exhaustive training. The EFT file formats, in essence, format the payment details according to the bank's specific requirements. You should send us the EFT file specification from the bank, and then we will match it to one of our existing EFT file formats and tell you which one you need to use, or if we don't have it, we'll create a new EFT file format for you. The EFT file formats are also user-definable, so if you want, you can either create your own or adjust ours if you want to. The reason why you may want to do changes to our existing format is to put some site-specific modifications for the format. For example, the validations might be slightly different on one particular site. Or you may want to create a completely new specification. There is no charge from Orchid in creating new EFT file formats. Apart from formatting the payment details according to the bank specification, the EFT file format also allows for validations for the data entry. So while you're entering the EFT details, if there are specific validations from the bank, we can implement them in the EFT file, and we can implement them in the capture of the data. And we can provide help on the data required during the data entry. So if the bank said a field needs to be 450 or 460 to indicate the file payment type, then we can put that in the tooltip. So looking at an example file format, I'm going to describe the different sections of the EFT file format. You have the format name, which is in square brackets in the file format box, but just the name that they can select from the Finder when applying it to banks and vendors. We have a description, for example, the Canadian CPA 005. And then we have a section for the extra field declarations, validations, labels, and help tips. So on the right-hand side, you can see the BSB size equals 8:9. The BSB size is the bank branch size. And according to the CPA 005 standard, all bank branches should be between 8 and 9 digits long. So we can put that validation into the file format. And the account size is, according to the specification, between 3 and 12 digits long. And then we've got BSB number equals, and then we've got the financial institution ID transit number. So this means instead of being called branch code or sort code on the screen, the field will be labeled Financial Institution ID Transit Number. So when you have the field name equals and then a text, that will become the label for that particular field on the screen. Another example of an extra field on the bank record, on the EFT bank record, we have an AP payment reference field plus 9 extra fields on the bank record. 1 to 9, 10 extra fields for the EFT bank. And another example of that is using bank extra 1 for the destination data center code. So by typing in bank extra 1 equals destination data center code, that will be the field label. And then the bank extra 1 tip shows us that when we mouse over that, it's going to say, please contact your bank for the destination data center number. And another example using bank extra 2 is for the short name. So the field bank extra 2 will be labeled short name, open round brackets, 15 characters on the screen. And then we'll have a look at the row declarations. So you have header rows, which might just be called header equals, and then open quotes and all the fields that you want in the header row. Or if you've got multiple header rows, it might be header 1 equals and then header 2 equals. Or if you've got specific header rows for accounts payable and accounts receivable, you might have header AP, as I do have here. So header AP, that's our row, and it starts with the characters A, 10 zeros, 1, and then the originator ID formatted over 10 characters, etc. Then we have detail rows, which might be detail equals, or if you've got multiple detail rows, detail 1 equals, and then detail 2 equals, or in our case, detail AP equals. So our detail row starts with C, then it's got the record count, then the originator number, formatted over 10 characters, and so on. And then you have footer fields, and in our case, the footer field is going to start with Z, then some zeros for the record count, and then the total, transaction total, etc. And in all these rows, you have a number of different files or records that you can extract values from. You've got a list of fields that you can pick up off the company record, the name, the address, the tax number, some system-wide fields like the effective date, the EFT bank fields like the name, the branch code, the account number, the address, the extra fields 1 to 9, the file sequence number. On the EFT vendor or customers records, we've got the name, the branch code, the account number, the addresses, 1 to 4, postcode, etc. And we've also got an extra 50 fields, so extra 1 to extra 50. And we've got, for international payments, we've got the IBAN and SWIFT numbers. From the payment itself, we can pick up the payment number, payment amount, the currency, description. And some of the fields on the applied invoice document are the invoice number, invoice description, invoice date, or the invoice net amount. You've also got the invoice due amount and the discount taken. So all of those can be included in the bank file if they're needed. So let's go ahead and see how this EFT file type works against the vendor and bank records. So looking at that EFT file format for the CAN CPA 005, we will now go and assign this to a bank and make sure that we get the bank extra 1 field being turned on for the destination data center code, and we get the tooltip, and bank extra 2 becomes the short name. So on our EFT banks, and looking at the 100 CPA 005, we have the financial institution ID and transit number, which we know is the label that we set for the BSB number and the account number. And we can see the bank extra 1 has been labeled destination data center code, and please contact your bank for the destination data center code is the tooltip for that. And bank extra 2 has been labeled short name, 15 characters. And in accounts payable on the vendors or suppliers, on the Orchid EFT tab, when you select the appropriate format for that particular vendor, then the fields will be labeled accordingly. So when we select CAN CPA 005, you will see that the account number must be at least 3 characters, a validation in red until such time as we fill in an account number. The branch number or the financial institution ID must be at least 8 or 9 characters. The field is labeled financial institution / transit ID, and once we key in the correct values, then the red validation goes away. For more information on the EFT formats, go to the help. So from the EFT format screen, click on help, and you will see more details on the overall structure of the EFT format file, the actual structure itself, and all the different field names from the different files. So if you want to see what fields you can use from the payment entry or from the vendor's record. Thanks for your attention in viewing the spotlight on the EFT formats in Orchid's EFT processing for Sage Intacct. For more information on EFT processing for Sage Intacct, please go to our website.